Hey everybody, welcome to Glendale, Arizona. This is Rapid Reaction brought to you by Byers Auto. Clemson 29, Ohio State 23 in the Fiesta Bowl, the college football playoff semifinal. The perfect season is gone for the Buckeyes. Ryan Day has his first loss. The national title hopes are gone. This is Tim May. That's Jeremy Birmingham. I'm Austin Ward for Lettermen Row. Guys, we'll be the fans, the Buckeyes, everybody involved with this one, our coverage. It's all going to be about what if, the opportunities that the Buckeyes had that got away. A couple of touchdowns, a couple reviews, a couple of strange calls, an ejection, and all of a sudden you're talking about 29-23 in a game that Ohio State could have easily dominated.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what I'll remember most, I remember a lot of those replay review situations, but of course some things kind of came right for them in a call situation later in the game, holding in the defense secondary. But what I'll remember is them sort of squandering 4 great opportunities in the first half where they could have been up 21-0 for sure, 28-0 possibly, settling for 3 field goals and 1 touchdown. You know, the J.K. Dobbins dive for a pass that they ruled he didn't catch firmly enough.
If he was running
great
the ball,
call.
If he was running
and then
the
the
ball
screen
into the end
pass
zone,
to the left.
and if he was running the ball into the end zone and dropped it the way he did, it's a touchdown.
Yeah, or if he'd hit the pylon with it as he caught it, it probably would have been a touchdown. But there were some strange interpretations of rules, not the least of which was the strip Jeffrey Okudah had of Justin Ross that Jordan Fuller picked up in return for a touchdown. And upon further review, that also was reversed.
I don't know any other way to talk about it, Birm, but it's just this Clemson curse that Ohio State played more, certainly well enough to win this game, and then you just have so many weird things happen.
Well, number one is Ohio State essentially had 4 turnovers. 2 of them are questionable because they were ruled turnovers by officiating. I get that maybe there was a running into a punter. It didn't look like a roughing to me. I saw a punter jump into Cam Brown and was not hit. He was just sort of bumped into. That would have been a 4th down that would have still required a punt if they didn't call the roughing. Obviously, the targeting call on Shaun Wade, that was a play that ended a drive, and Clemson down 16-0 at that point. Yes, should have been 28-0, no doubt about it. Like, Ohio State could have been up 28-0 in this game, and probably should have been. They had a missed holding call on the first drive of the day for the Buckeyes that resulted in a field goal. KJ Hill was tackled in the end zone by Kayvon Wallace, who did that multiple times throughout the game.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things where this game was nowhere near as close as it should have been, because the Buckeyes should have been up 28-0.
It was as close.
I don't know. I'm so frustrated because what you watched out here was a team that was a way better team than Clemson was. And Trevor Lawrence had completed less than 50% of his passes. Travis Etienne had less than 40 yards rushing. 75 yards or less for Justin Ross and for T. Higgins. Ohio State had 550 yards of offense, or however many they had. Justin Fields threw for almost 350 yards.
Yeah, but get back to the other part. I mean, they punt the ball down to the 6-yard line, I think it was, late. They've got Clemson backed up just like they want to have them, and boom, the bugaboo of big plays bites this Ohio State defense again like it did last.
Right?
It was crazy.
Long, it didn't happen.
I know, but the bottom line is they still had the game. They still had a grip on the game. They couldn't hang on to it. And then in the end, they get a drive together that's going right down the railroad track, and a play where Chris Olave thinks Chris Fields is scrambling. He cuts off his post cut and turns it into a corner cut. Justin Fields goes ahead and throws the post cut. It's intercepted. Game over. Season over. You know, that was part of it too.
I think.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
mean, a lot of this is going to be about the officiating. You cannot ever blame a game on that solely.
No.
They certainly added up against it, but on top of that, Ohio State is dealing with Shaun Wade being out. That is a call, but that's, if you're talking about the last drive going this way, not having Shaun Wade on the field in obvious passing situations is a big deal for Ohio State. J.K. Dobbins, such a great start. Obviously had the drops, a little bit of a mixed bag for him, and this will likely be the last game of his career at Ohio State. But the injury, he was clearly not himself. Anytime he was trying to run left, he could not plant the cut upfield. He still gritted out that.
His cut on the big time touchdown run was, he couldn't do that stuff anymore.
And that was J.K. Dobbins at his best. He still made some plays on that final drive
In the
as a
passing
receiver, but it wasn't enough. And on top of that, there's no way you could ever convince me that Justin Fields got back to full strength on that knee.
No.
I know there was all this conversation and speculation throughout the week that they were sandbagging with him, and then the knee was just gamesmanship, or the knee brace.
No.
Compare him to Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is a fine dual threat athlete, or at least can make some plays with his legs than he did tonight. But he is not a better runner than Justin Fields. And Clemson had no problem running their quarterback, and Ohio State couldn't do it.
I just keep thinking back to that earlier in the week when Justin Fields reminded everybody that Trevor Lawrence is a good runner. It kind of went over everybody's head, Without Trevor Lawrence being able to run, they don't win this game tonight. I'm talking about Clemson because they lost T. Higgins for a half with that, hit to the head. Miraculously, he came back in the second half.
Just a brief concussion.
Yeah, exactly. Catches that 2-point conversion, which, but the bottom line is Trevor Lawrence, when the game was on the line, he delivered plays. No matter what else went on, he did deliver plays. And we can talk about the officiating all you want, but the bottom line is they made plays with the game on the line, and Ohio State looked like it was going to do the exact same thing, and then boom,
It's
it's
what
over.
we talked about yesterday on Friday in the final preview show. The game was going to come down to players making plays, and when it came down to it, Clemson's players made the plays when they needed to. When I say the players, I mean Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence, because they gashed Ohio State with him out of the backfield anytime that Tough Borlander was on the field. It seemed to be a difficult matchup. Malik Harrison misses a tackle on the first 54-yard touchdown in the backfield. It should have been a loss, and instead it ends up going for a touchdown. The second one's just a great play, the little jump pass. So,
Yeah.
this Clemson team's won 29.
Tim Tebow-esque.
This team's won 29 games in a row. It's a very good football team, and Ohio State had them dead to rights. The Buckeyes were beat by themselves first, beat by officials second, and beat by Clemson third.
I'm not sure if I completely agree with that.
I don't completely agree with that either.
They were also beat
Well,
by the
then
field.
tell me what you feel.
They also were beat by the field at times, and
Oh,
I
it's
just
awful.
got to tell you, I'm sure you guys could see it on TV. This field is absolute garbage, and Josh Proctor, I'm sure, will be thinking about that forever on the Trevor Lawrence run.
Yeah.
He slips. Jeff Okudah slipped. Birm, you were talking about the KJ Hill holding in the end zone. He actually slipped going into that. I'm not sure that was as egregious of a missed call as some others, but that happened all night long. J.K. Dobbins making a cut. I'm not saying only Ohio State did.
The second long touchdown run, or should have been long touchdown run by J.K. Dobbins, ended because of the field. It's a shame that a game of this magnitude has a playing surface that you can't trust. And I know both teams are dealing with it. You have to go with what you have to go. But it was clear that Ohio State was affected by it more than Clemson, and I don't really know why that was the case.
I got to tell people.
It's because of the curse.
Yeah, I got to tell people something real quick. We're watching them gather the confetti with blowers that they spent all that time, as Spencer Holberg pointed out, they spent all that time blowing up into the air, and now they're trying to blow it all back together. And so they're blowing it to one side, and then it's coming to the other, and they're having to blow it back the other way. Futility.
This is the Fiesta Bowl debacle at its finest. That they don't even know how to handle the confetti. It's sort of been the way this whole week has gone out here with the rain and some other issues that need not be discussed on this show. But
let me ask you a question. How do you think? I think Justin Fields played pretty damn good tonight. He threw for over 320 yards. He had some moments he'd like back. Obviously, the 2 interceptions, you only thrown one all year. You knew a great defense. There were a couple more he could have thrown earlier in the year. You know what I'm saying? But it's just for it to end that way for a season, for him to end the way it ended on that last play, when he's going to take some blame. Chris Olave is taking all the blame if he can. It's just crazy considering how much those two guys meant to this football team this year.
And beyond that, he's going to have a chance to make up for that next year. And I think this Ohio State team is going to be back in a college football playoff. I firmly believe that with all the pieces they have. But you're starting to look now at this future where Jeff Hafley is going to be gone. Ohio State needs to get some resolution there with Kerry Combs or the next candidate on the list. Mike Yurcich is most likely going to be leaving for Texas in the days ahead. Ryan Day is going to have to rework the coaching staff in that opportunity and mold it how he wants to see fit, most likely. And now you're talking about J.K. Dobbins, the end of his career, Chase Young, Jeff Okudah. There are a couple guys like Wyatt Davis who reiterated in the locker room that he's coming back. But Sean Wade, these other guys that have NFL decisions, not to mention K.J. Hill, Austin Mack, who had some sensational catches tonight, Jordan Fuller, who got absolutely jobbed for the second time of a touchdown return on a call.
Yeah, how about that?
I mean, it's just these are never fun. That was a very somber locker room, and this was a special season to cover. And it's just it's strange that all the things that kind of had to materialize to end it in a way that they didn't see coming.
Yeah. And they had, and all of what you just delineated went on tonight. They still had a shot at the end to rectify the situation.
Yep.
But yeah, we can discuss that Shaun Wade thing all you want. The rule book pretty much states now if you hit a quarterback in the head, no matter
if you're dropping your head, and
I know
this is about the differential.
I wouldn't, but calling that targeting is the wrong. Calling that intent and targeting is the wrong interpretation of that, and they will address that because that was
they've had chances.
That was the quarterback ducking out of the way.
I don't believe that they will correct it because they've had multiple chances to do so.
Well, they tweaked it a little bit this year.
It's so easy to put a yellow card system or 2 violations.
Yeah,
you have to do that.
That's what I would.
I mean, intent has to be a part of the call, and it was not in any way obvious or believable that Shaun Wade was trying to hit Trevor Lawrence in the head.
Right.
Shaun Wade's 6'1", Trevor Lawrence is 6'6". If he ducks his head, there's a good chance you're going to hit him in the head.
Plus, Wade didn't launch; he just ran into it and it would have been Chase Young's only participation in a sack tonight. I think.
I mean, it's really frustrating because again, when you look back at the all-time devastating Ohio State losses, this one is going to be right near the top. And for a program that dealt with the Michigan State loss in 2015, all the Michigan games in the 90s, this one is going to really stick in people's craw for a long time.
Yeah, it's not. Hey, we saw a great football game. It was not the one that any of us predicted out here.
Well, I predicted 28-24 as the final score. So I was sort of close, but I obviously had the team.
I predicted 34-31.
Is that the credit you want, or
no?
Okay.
But what other credit is there?
There's none.
Because this dude predicted a Jordan Fuller return for a touchdown.
I had that taken away from me, the same way that Jordan Fuller and the Buckeyes did tonight. So I feel aggrieved.
That added to your bitterness.
We'll
never forgive the
Did
officials.
J.K. get 2,000 yards or no?
He broke the single-season record. I don't know what total he finished with.
So I was at least half right on.
He had 174, I think, rushing. So
I think he needed like 161 or something.
I think he did break 2,000.
Spencer's back there saying that he got it. So
yes.
Another
but he played his heart out. I mean, those 2 drops we talked about. Wow.
Yeah, but I mean,
those are tough.
The first one, again, and these are rules I just don't understand, and I don't want to belabor the point about officiating, but if he's running with the football and crosses the plane and then hits the ground with the ball, it's a touchdown. If a Clemson receiver or any other receiver, let's just throw it out there, just carries the ball up here all the time from now on. If you catch it and hold it up here, and then take as many steps as you want, is that not having possession of the football? So they're being given a credit because they're holding it up here, because he took 4.5 steps with the ball.
There is no justification for what they did. If it had been ruled an incomplete pass on the field, I would say the same thing. You're probably not going to overturn it.
Yeah.
There's a case, to be made for that you stick with it, and there wasn't enough evidence to overturn. However, every time I looked at it, I saw what Birm did, a guy who took steps
and then turned
and then tried to tuck it, and then Jeff Okudah rips it out.
Yeah.
That is a fumble.
That play had the potential to be the play of the game.
Oh,
you understand what I mean? That would have turned it Ohio State's way irrevocably, I do believe.
It had turned it. So instead, I don't get my bold prediction. Ohio State doesn't get their win. That's probably more important than something that I wanted to happen in this game or thought was going to happen. Ohio State comes up short again in the Fiesta Bowl, again against Clemson. 29-23. The season is over. 2019, Ryan Day has his first loss, and they move on to 2020, try to regroup and get back to the college football playoff.
We saw a hell of a game and a hell of a season, though. We saw a hell of a season this year.
It's been fun. We're going to keep it going. Just because the season is over doesn't mean we're going to stop covering Ohio State at Lettermen Row. We've got a lot more coming for you, and we're going to help set the tone for the new year. That's Tim May. That's Jeremy Birmingham. Spencer Holbrook's behind the camera. I'm Austin Ward. We've appreciated and loved every second of covering this year. We're going to get ready for 2020, and we'll see you in it.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and we got Buckeye IQ with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Birm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.